Good morning, traders, and welcome to the daily call today, Friday, the 14th of September. Before we get started, as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, let's get started and have a look at what's happened yesterday. There was a lot of data out in the market. We'll start off in the US, where we saw the CPI number come in weak at 0.2%. That's compared to the 0.3, and the core CPI was at 0.1. Market reacted accordingly, with the USD losing ground pretty much against all the majors for the session, except the Japanese yen. So that was disappointing news from the US, and probably the biggest market moving event that happened overnight. From the UK, we had the official bank votes, the monetary policy, and of course the rates. As widely expected, the Bank of England kept its rates unchanged at 0.75%. What was surprising was that there wasn't much guidance offered in the way of moving forward, and it appears that at this present moment, Brexit negotiations are far more impacting on the British pound. Consequently, the market did not move too much at this release of the data, and it wasn't until later in the night when the US CPI numbers came out that the cable jumped significantly, around about 80 pips for the session. In Europe, we also had a monetary policy release and interest rates decisions. The ECB kept their rates unchanged, and they did specify that they expect the current rate levels to remain until pretty much the summer of 2019 and further if required. On a separate note, Mr. Draghi did come out later and say, it's a headline sort of bulletin, that further stimulus is still required. So where does that leave the euro at this stage? Well, pretty much where it started. Didn't really move much from this data. The big movement last night again came from the US side, if you're looking at the Euro USD, rather than the Euro side of that currency pair. Finally, locally, we had strong job numbers coming in at 44,000 jobs, as the Aussie US dollar reacted positively to this news, jumping around about 60 odd pips at the release, with the Aussie USD now currently trading at 71.90. Okay, time for us to have a look at our chart of the day. Incidentally, yesterday's chart of the day did not trigger, no harm done, so you should have cancelled out your pending orders, and now we look for the next chart. The chart that I found for us this morning is, there wasn't nothing on a daily time frame, so we have the US Swiss on a 4-hour time frame, and this pattern here, this is a absolute textbook classic pattern. I could not skip it, and the way that this one works, as you can see here, there is a congested region here, or you could look at it as a channel. It's a horizontal channel, and when it happens this way, when the market comes from high, normally it'll come down, bounce as such, and then usually it shoots straight down. Okay, so this is the most typical scenario that you get with this particular pattern. However, I will be open to two options. If I can produce some kind of price action activity in this region here, well, then I'm happy to take that trade in this direction. But again, as I said, this particular type of pattern usually ends up breaking down, but what may happen is it could bounce one more time to the top before it makes its breakdown. It is textbook classic. So two options: one, look for your price action trade there, but if it does not show and it starts to break, well, then this trade is definitely on as well. Okay, so two options for you: US Swiss on a 4-hour time frame. That is our chart of the day this morning. Okay, let's have a look at what's happening in the session, the final session of the week. We have this evening at 8 o'clock from the UK, Bank of England's Governor Carney will be speaking. And then at 10:30 we have retail sales from the US coming out, being released. That pretty much wraps up the final session for the week. Guys, as always, please feel free to contact us if you do have any questions. Follow me on Twitter at ChatFX for trade setups and breaking news. Most importantly, hope you'll have a fantastic trading day. I'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Speak then. Bye for now.